Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's see.
Morning.
Today. You guys doing okay? Still early? Still early to tell. Where's everybody? We just have a few people. I guess we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Okay, so we can start. We start yesterday doing the back of the chapter 6 review questions. I think we stopped at number 6, which is said if you choose to install Hyper-V in a nano server deployment, what type of server management must be implemented to manage Hyper-V? So one of the options is remote server management, which is correct, which is option A. Because a nano server basically is a bare minimum version of an operating system. Therefore, there's no GUI, so you have to use a remote server management for it. Number 7, you can need a VM running Windows Server 2016 in some applications. You want to create a second VM quickly that has the same configuration options and installed application as the first one. So you plan to use this second VM on the same Hyper-V server as the first one. And you want a good disk performance from both VMs. What should you do? We did that lab. Actually, you need to export the first VM and import it in with the copy, the virtual machine options to create the second VM. So you need to import and export, which is this is one of the features you can duplicate in a VM. Okay. Number 8, this is a long question. You have an old server running Windows Server 2016 that has had intermittent hardware failures in the past few months that caused the server to shut down. And you have not been able to isolate the problem, but you suspect that the hard disks are beginning to fail and the server is no longer under warranty. So you have been using Hyper-V server for about a year with 2 VMs running on it. This quad-core server has plenty of disk space and a lot of good processor and have a lot of memory. So which of the following might be good solution for anything server that requires the least amount of cost and administrative effort? So basically what they say is, you have an old server running in 2016 and it's giving you trouble out of warranty and you expect that the hard drive is failing, so what are you supposed to do? So one of the options we talked about in the chapters that you can convert a physical machine into a virtual machine. And we talked about the tools that you can use. So you need to create a VM on your Hyper-V server and on the old server, run a physical to virtual conversion. So you go to the old server, run physical to virtual conversion. use the resulting virtual hard disk file as a virtual disk for the new VM. And then after that, you can take the old server offline. You follow the scenario? I think that's a good option. Actually, if you have the equipment, it's a good lab to practice. In the past, I give this one as a homework for a student to do, and I did it on lab, so it's a good exercise to do. Okay, number 9, to remotely manage Hyper-V using PowerShell. PowerShell remoting must be enabled. By default, PowerShell remoting is enabled on Windows Server 2012 and later. However, if it becomes disabled, which of the following PowerShell commandlets will allow you to remotely manage Hyper-V using PowerShell? And I think we talked about this one, is enable PS remoting, which is option number 3. Any question at this point? So far, so good. Okay, let's see. Number 10, what they're talking about, you are creating a new VM in Hyper-V on a Windows Server 2016 server. And your new VM will use a Windows 10 and support the use of Pixie Boot. Which hardware generation type should you select during the VM creation process? So basically, you're going to use Windows. You want to create VM with Windows 10, and they're asking you what VM generation you want to use, generation 1 or generation 2. But since it's a Windows 10, and Windows 10 support generation 2, so we'll go with generation 2. And then go backward. And generation 2 support Pixie Boot. So, all right. Number 11. Which of the following Hyper-V guest virtual machine configuration would allow you the ability to hot add and remove memory? Choose all that apply. So then we have more than one. So Windows Server 2016 with Hyper-V running a Windows 10 VM, you can do that. Or you can use it on Windows 10 Server 2016 with Hyper-V running a Windows Server 2016. So the answer is any Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V running either Windows 10 VM or Windows 2016 VM. That will allow you to do what? To ability to hot add and remove memory. Okay. Number 12. Talk about your network has a long power outage that had caused Hyper-V server to shut down after the UPS battery is drained. When the power returns, the Hyper-V servers restart automatically, but the VM do not start. You need to make sure the VM starts when the host starts. What should you do? We talked about this one. Change the automatic start action setting on the VMs. So they have options, I think. Let me see. My server is down. Let's see. I'm gonna turn it on. I shut down my server and generate a lot of heat and noisy too. So anyway, it's one of the options. You put change the automatic start action start on the VM. So it's one of the settings. And some of them that we talk about, they have like you give time. Some of them you give priority, or you say, okay, I want to wait like 2-3 seconds or minutes, whatever. The delays to start. Number 13. Number 13 talks about checkpoints for your test VMs taking up too much space on the host system test. And you have 2 test VM running each with 1 checkpoint to represent the baseline testing environment. And you are finished with your current testing and are ready for another round of testing, but to each VM and delete all checkpoints in the Hyper-V Manager. Change the path of the checkpoint file to the other volume and create new checkpoint for each VM. So option C for for question number 13. Number 14. Number 14 talks about what? Which of the following is true if you enable shielding and create a shield VM in Windows Server 2016? We talked about this one, a new feature in Hyper-V, especially if you run in 2016, you have what we call secure boot, which is automatically enabled, and also you can encrypt it. Encryption is automatically enabled. So the right answer for this question is option B and C. Option B, secure boot, is automatically enabled. And option C, which is encryption, is automatically enabled. Now, question number 15, what does it say? You have 4 checkpoints of VM, and you want to return the VM into the state where the second checkpoint was taken. So you have 4 of them. 4 checkpoint of VM, and you want to return the VM to its state when the second checkpoint was taken. Which checkpoint option should you use? And say apply, save, select, revert. You're supposed to select the second one and you say apply. Let's see. Well, this is supposed to be revert. This checkpoints. Oh. So what you think is apply or revert? Let me check what they say. That's on page, let's see. Checkpoints. Checkpoint. Okay, revert to and apply checkpoints. There are two ways to use save checkpoint. Revert and apply. Reverted to checkpoint returns a VM to its state when the most recent checkpoint was taken. Okay, to apply, the apply option is available when the checkpoint is selected. In the checkpoint section, selecting the most recent checkpoint and applying it has the same effect as using revert. So apply. Correct answer in here is apply. And this one on page 229, section 2, and the reverting to and applying checkpoints. So basically, in this case, you select the checkpoint you want to revert to, then you click on apply. Alrighty. I think this is one of the questions of the test. Alrighty. Number 16. Are you guys doing okay? Or are you going back to sleep? All right. Let's see. Number 16, you are working with Windows Server 2003. Well, this is old. VM and Hyper-V. Every time you click the mouse in the VM Windows capturing, you must press Control Alt left arrow to use the mouse on host OS, which is getting annoying. What can you do to take using the VM easier? What can you do to make using the VM? So what's supposed to do? We talked about yesterday, install integration services. Install integration services. Number 12, you are configuring 4 VMs on Hyper-V server. One of the virtual machines need to be assigned a new relative weight value to allow it to have a priority to the share process.
Hey, can anyone else hear Mr. Charif talking?
Hello?
I can hear him.
You cannot hear me? Okay. I can hear it, but the second one. Okay. Let's see. You hear me better now? Hello? You hear me better? Okay. How about now? Better? So number 17, you are configuring 4 VMs on Hyper-V server. One of the virtual machines needs to assign a new relative weight value to allow it to have priority to the shared processing resources between the 4 VMs. All 4 VMs are currently set to the default relative weight of 100. What relative weight value can you use to configure the VM that needs priority to the shared processing resources? Well, I mean, you have one option that's higher than 100, which is 200 in this case. So the correct answer is B, which is 200. So any question about anything so far? I think I need to adjust my microphone so you can hear me better. Okay. Let's see. number 18. Number 18, you want to allow your PM the ability to copy files to a running VM without using a virtual network connections. Which of the following integration services should be enabled in the VM settings? One of the options is guest services, which is correct, which is option number A. Option A, guest services. And this is under integration services. So if you go to the book under integration services, that's basically what you can see, guest services. Number 19 is you solve the problem with VMs not starting when the host restart. And now you notice that the VM take a long time to start, or the VMs taking a long time to start when the host start. On some hosts, and you have as many as 6 VMs. You also find that VM running an application server cannot initialize correctly. So because the VM running DNS is not available immediately, what can you do to improve VM startup times and solve the application server problem? So what do you think? One of the options on the VMs we talked about that yesterday, that you have a setting to delay startup on that machine. So, and in this particular question, they have an option B, which is tells you set startup delay for each VM, making sure the delay for the DNS server is lower than the application server. So that's a good strategy because you want the servers or the VMs that provide services to other VMs to start first. Then you delay the other servers or the other VMs to start, which just makes sense. Number 20, which of the following resource metrics can be measured when you enable the Hyper-V feature resource metering? So they have a list of them. It's under resource metering. And it's on page 231. And one of them basically talks about average CPU use, maximum disk space allocating, what else? Outgoing network traffic per network adapter, minimum and maximum and average physical memory use. So in this particular question, the correct options is A, which is average physical memory use. Option B, which is maximum disk space allocated. And option D, which is outgoing network traffic per network adapter. Okay? So that's the options for question number 20. Number 21. You currently have 4 VMs running on Hyper-V server, and you need to increase the amount of memory to VM4. That's cool. So that you can install a new application. You are running low on physical memory. You try to allocate less memory to the other 3 VMs to free up memory, but after you did so, they would not start. What can you do? It does not involve installing additional physical memory on the host or changing the configuration of the guest OS. So the right options here, they say enable dynamic memory of all the VMs and set the startup memory higher than the minimum memory. So set up the startup memory higher than the minimum. So this is the option A. Okay, let's see. I have a lot of questions on this chapter. Any questions so far? No? No questions? Do you guys hear me okay now or what? Or you still have a problem? I guess. Sound clear to you. That's good. Number 22, you are using a VM with Windows 8.1 Pro. Guest OS to run applications that you want isolated from the host computer on the LAN. Okay, so that's a key word right there. So basically what they're asking you to do, you are using VM with Windows 8.1 Pro guest OS to run applications that you want isolated from the host computer and the LAN. However, you want to be able to print from the VM to the printer connected to your host and copy files between the host and guest OS. What can you enable to accomplish this task? Basically, what they're asking you is this. You have a VM with 8.1 Pro. You want to isolate it from the host and the other machines or the other computers on that network, on that LAN. Basically, you want some kind of like internal switch. However, but in the same time, you want to connect the printer to it. Now, you would know we cannot connect printer physically to the VM because that's a virtual memory. So you need to connect your printer to your host. So in order to do that, you need to enable enhanced session mode in the Hyper-V and verify that the remote desktop services is running on the guest. So option number, which is A, option A. Question at this point. This particular section is enhanced session mode, which is on page. Let's see. Page 233 at the bottom of your book. And 234, they say to enable enhanced session mode in Hyper-V Manager, click Hyper-V setting, and then click enhanced session mode policy. In the right pane, click allow enhanced session mode. To configure virtual machine connection to use enhanced session mode, click enhanced session mode in the next pane under user and click enhance. Okay, repeating the same thing. And they have a PowerShell command that says set VM host, enable enhanced session mode, and you have the space $true. You put true it. Okay. This is on page 234. Yeah. Number 22, which of the following is a system memory architecture used in a multi-processor system that allow processors to share memory more efficiently? And that's what we talked about NUMA. N-U-M-A. What's a NUMA? Non-uniform memory access. And we talked about this one here. If you have a multi-processors, each processor is going to have their own primary memory. And if processor 1, they want to use the memory for processor 2, that's a secondary memory. So that's what they use. They call it non-uniform memory access. This is option A. And this is under, it's on page, start page 235 in your book. And actually, they have some kind of settings in there on figure 6-21. Okay, anyway, number 24. You have currently decided that you want, you have currently decided that you would like the junior administrator to have the ability to perform limited tasks in Hyper-V Manager. However, you do not want the junior administrator to have a broader administrative control over your system. What management console will specifically allow you to configure Hyper-V permissions to accomplish this task? So they have an options in there called Authorization Manager. And this is basically under enhanced mode, enhanced session mode. You can select whatever user you want, and you can assign some kind of delegation, VM delegation. All right. So the right question for question number 24, they call authorization manager. Two more questions, which is good. Number 25. You currently have an application server VM running on your Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V server. Your application server VM's performance would benefit greatly if the host machine's SSD drive could be accessed by allowing the application server VM to bypass the Hyper-V hypervisor. What feature in Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V can give your application server VM exclusive access to hardware devices on the host computer? Wow, that's a real good scenario. Okay, on your book, on page 238, they have a title of a topic called Discrete Device Assignment. Discrete Device Assignment, so you can do that. And actually, they say another new feature in Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V is the ability to give a VM exclusive access to hardware devices on the host computer. And a feature called Discrete Device Assignment, DDA, that's what we call it, DDA. With DDA, the VM has direct access to the device, bypassing the Hyper-V hypervisor, which increase performance. Only, this is very good. Only PCI Express devices are supported. The most likely candidates for this type of access are SSD drive that plug directly into the PCI and a graphics processing unit. And so the detail of using DDA are beyond the scope of this. Okay, so that's the answer, which is D. For this question, the answer is D. Discrete device assignment. Okay, last question. They give you which of the following PowerShell commandlet will allow the management of running Hyper-V, VMA, VMT, test server from Hyper-V host PowerShell front. The answer for this one, option number C, which is inner PC session space dash VM name dash VM test server. So that's question number 26. Okay, now you can wake up. We're finished. Are you guys sleeping?
Nope.
Taking a nap?
No, sir.
Okay, I know you're awake. Who's that, Zach or Miguel?
It was Miguel for a second.
Okay. Very good. So there's a lot of stuff on this chapter, and this was really a good chapter to give you some kind of a base about virtual machines. So if you have any question about this one, read the chapter. Please read the chapter. If you have any questions, send me an email. Say, I don't understand this particular topic. So I want you to have a full understanding of virtual machines, especially the options that would, generation 1, what they offer, and generation 2, what's the difference between the two, and what services is available to the virtual machines. Because virtual machine is not going to go away. So you're going to deal with them left and right when you graduate, when you go to workforce, especially if you're working with enterprise environment. All right. So now we move on to chapter 7. Chapter 7 basically talks about implementing virtualization with Hyper-V, what do. The first thing they talk about, the virtual disk. Talk about virtual disk. Now, that's the first section of working with virtual hard disk. So this is the, let's see, where's my, now I can put the PowerPoints in there. Virtualization. See, can I share the screen? Yes. So that's chapter 7, implementing virtualization with Hyper-V. And basically talk about work with virtual disk, configure a virtual network, configure nested virtualization. I don't know if we can do that, but I think we can. But they say in order to do this, you need to run special command, which is we'll deal with it. When we get to that point. Virtual hard disk can be one of 3 types. So we know the first one, which is fixed size, recommended when the VM needs what? To run for performance to run disk-intensive applications. That was the case before Generation 2, but according to what I read, you can use dynamically for that too. So, but anyway, we'll stick with their definition. So they say fixed size means what? Means that if you allocate a specific size disk, that's what you're going to use. It has advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is performance. Disadvantage, if you don't use all this space, you're wasting it, basically. Because everything now, they look at it from cost perspective. Okay? However, dynamically expanding is somewhat slower than fixed size disk. This is if you use in generation 1, but it has an advantage, but unless the VMs run in disk-intensive applications, dynamically expanding disks are a good choice because you pay as you go, like on demand. So you pay whatever you consume, and this is what you need to do dynamically. Especially you're gonna hear about this terminology, especially when you deal with AWS. So whatever you consume, you pay. Sometimes maybe they give an example around Christmas time, you need more space, especially if you have commercial stuff. So you need more space, you pay more. After that, you're not consuming a lot, so you go back to the original cost. So and that's what they did about dynamic. So if you're not using the space, you release it to somebody else to use it. Now the other one, let's talk about differencing disk. So this is used as a parent-child relationship. Parent disk is dynamically expanded or fixed size disk with an OS installed, possibly with some application and data. It operates normally, but any changes made of its hard disk are made only to the differencing disk. Must not be changed in any way. So with differencing disk, several VMs can be created by using the parent disk as a baseline, using only the additional host disk space of differencing disk. So differencing disks are an ideal way to provision or make available. So several VMs quickly without having to install an OS and applications or copy an entire virtual disk. And that's what the most important part. When you talk about differencing disk, work like what? Dynamically expanding disk. And that will start very small and grow as data is written into them. All the child disks must use the same format as the parent. Like for example, if you use VHD, you're going to use all of them. They're going to use VHD. Use VHDX, all of them are going to use VHDX. I will talk about each one of them. Let's see. And this is an options. Whenever you create a virtual disk, you have an option to select any of these. Virtual disk can be created when a VM is created or with a new virtual disk. Actually, you can create a virtual disk from the host itself, from the Hyper-V management, as supposed to say. And you need to choose a format from the following options. VHD, which is original virtual disk. This was popular on generation 1. It's backward compatible with the MDR instead of or the BIOS instead of the UEFI. The VHDX, this is the new one, the default options support virtual disk up to 64 terabyte. The VHD doesn't support 64, they support 2 terabyte. Now, the VHD set, this is a shared virtual hard disk fused with VM cluster configuration. This is when you create a space to be shared with multiple VMs. And as we learned, the purpose for that is when you share space between different VMs, is basically to create some kind of cluster. Cluster basically means what? Means redundancy. So if you have a shared storage accessed by multiple VMs, if one of the server or one of the VMs that act as the server goes down, then the client still accessing the other VMs. So that's why you need to have VHD set to be accessed by multiple VMs. And some use them for load balancing too. You can use load balancing. It depends on cluster you set. So, let's see. Over here they talk about how you create it. There are multiple ways you can do it. So let's see if we have. We go to my remote desktop. That's my server. Let's see, password. Okay, that's my virtual. Okay, that's the server. Alrighty. This one. Right. Yeah. Run. We need to run virtual management. So as you can see, I have a lot of virtual machines, and now this one was off, so I started. So now I have a bunch of them running, and only 2 machines is not running. So how we create virtual disk? So in multiple ways, you can go to the virtual machine itself and create the disk, or you can go to the Hyper-V manager right here, and you go to new virtual right here, new, and you can say hard disk, and you follow the wizard. See that? Then you go next. Okay, and you can select from what they say on the slide. They say VHD, which is support virtual hard disk up to terabytes, or you can select VHDX. Well, that depends on the VM. If I create VM with generation 1, then I need to go with option 1, which is VHD. But if my VM was generation 2, I'll go with VHDX. Now, if I'm going to create cluster, basically I want to have a multiple VMs to access the same storage, then I'll select VHD set, and that's what you call it right here. VHD set. This format is for shared virtual hard disk only, and enable backup of virtual machines group using shared virtual hard disk. This format is not supported in operating system earlier than Windows 10. It has to be Windows 10 or Windows 2016 or 2019 or 12. And so we're going to select the VHDX. This format support virtual disk up to 64 terabyte. It is resilient to consistency issues that might occur from a power failure. This format is not supported in operating system earlier than Windows Server 2012. So to use VHDX, if you have, for example, old Windows Server, you need to go with VHD. Okay. So now when you create next and select the format, you select next. And that's the other options. You can use fixed size. What type of virtual disk do you want to create? You can go with the fixed size, or you can go with dynamically expanding. Now, if you go previous, listen to this. You go and select the first option, what's going to happen? I bet you it's going to default it to fixed. You see that? See the difference? So if we go back and select VHDX, it's going to default it to dynamically. The reason why, because on the fixed, on the previous one, you select VHD. VHD is slow. Like you want this one, this options because for performance. Okay, but on the new generation of VHDX, they enhance the performance, so it's not an issue anymore. So that's why they defaulted to dynamically. But we're going to select dynamically in this case, and we need to go next. And over here, they're going to give you an options to, what do you say, Mr. Russo? Oh, man, I don't understand the reason for this microphone. Okay, how about now? You can hear me better? I think my microphone is acting up. You can hear me better now? They did for me. I don't know. Some of y'all. Okay. Mr. Deruso, can you hear me better now? Say yes or no. Okay. So now you get to the options to ask you what you want to name that disk and where you want to store it. So in this case, I can name it new virtual disk, or I can say see, I can say disk of data. This, how about disk 2? Actually, disk 3. Okay. You can give it whatever name you want. Some people they call it data. Some people they call it different things. So in this case, we'll call it disk 3, and I'm going to start it on the GM, on the VMs folder. This is where all the VMs reside. Now you can change if you want to, but it's a good idea to have an idea where you want to store your disks. So if you go next, now they're going to ask you for the size, what size you want. So you can put whatever size. Let's say 127. Okay, that's fine. I'll go with it. We go next. And if you want, you can use copy of these other disks, but we don't need it. So go with 127 or 100. Let's put a 100. Okay. So we can allocate 100 gig. We go next. And basically, this is before you confirm. You have successfully completed the virtual blah blah blah. You're about to create the following virtual hard disk. Okay. So now we create it. Oh, the server enhanced error trying to create virtual disk, failed to create virtual disk. Okay, wow, CD tag. System failed to create, the file exists. Okay, so we need to, so we have to use different names. How about, so I said, you can't use the same name because it already exists, okay? So what I need to do, how about I use MC data, okay? This is comma or this is dot? It's supposed to be dot. Yeah, it's not a problem. Oh, it looks like the same to me. Okay, so we go next. Next, finish. Okay, so we created that MC data. So now if I browse on that particular folder, I can see it. Right here. I'm supposed to see MC data. See that? That's the disk. But this is nobody using it now. No VMs. So if I'm going to assign it to a VM, I can go to any VM. Let's say server 2. And you go create the settings. I can go to the SCSI controller right here. See that SCSI controller? And add hard drive. You go add. And over here you browse. Already create. Now if you want to add a drive, you go new, you're going to get the same widget. But since I'm already created, I can go and browse and point to my MC data. Open it, and it's going to give it to the location too. Remember that in the SCSI controller, you can attach up to what? 64 devices. You go from 0 to 63, and that's what you see right here. So, see that? All this list here? Up to 63. So, what we're doing up to 2 is actually this number 3 because it starts with 0. So you have 0, 1, and 2, so that's 3. But because it starts with 0, we could say 2. Or like a friend said 2. Nah. So let's give you the virtual disk path, basically. And you say, okay, apply. Or if you want, you can inspect, you can edit. So say, okay. Now that disk is added to this virtual machine. Now, if you boot up this virtual machine, you can start it. And also, you can go to the disk management and you can enable it. You're going to see it in a few seconds. Let's see here. Take a while. So let's make sure that media is not ejected yet. Reject the media because I think I created multiple server 2. So what I did, I created import and export multiple VMs in here. Tell you what, that machine I bought for like a couple $100 a minute, the server, it's a good practice. Now you can click on it. Okay, so now this is part of the domain. Let me see, my domain is up or down? Yeah, this is the domain. So now I can log into my domain, which is STP. I call it STP for spanning tree protocol. So I like that name, STP. So password is password 01. And voila. Now I can go to disk management. Actually, I need to right click on it. Okay. It's gonna take a few seconds, I guess, to boot. All right, got this point right here. Right click, disk management. And now I need to attach the disk I created to this particular virtual machine. I need to initialize it actually. It's gonna be there. It's already attached. You see that disk unknown? This is the 100 gig that I created. So you right click on it and put it online. Then you need to initialize it. Now initialize this. And you have an option to do a master boot record or GUI partition table, GPT. So we're gonna do GPT to bring it online, and now it's available for use. Now you can partition this one. You can create simple volume. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay. So now I can do the same thing. Go into the setting itself, to the virtual machine itself, and create that disk. But there's multiple ways to do things. And also, you can do that from command line. You can do that, create virtual disk from command line. I think we did it once. So what do you think so far? The good thing is you go to Hyper-V Manager and create virtual disk. Then you can attach it to any VM you want. Okay. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. And do you have any question for the next hour? Because I know you have a test at 9:25.
No, sir.
No questions? Okay, so I'll see. I will activate the test for you. Follow the instruction as usual. Put your name on the packet tracer, and also you get the instruction or the file or the topology from the files folder. Under, there are two files. I have an old files already there. Don't open it. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to upload a new one. Okay. So don't open it in advance. Wait till about 9:30ish or so, and then after you finish your online test, you can open the skill test. All right. And if you have a question or any step you don't understand on the instructions, send me an email. Okay? Have a good day and good luck to you on your test. Any questions? No? All right.
No, sir. Thank you.
No, sir.
All right. See you then.